Hello everyone, this is Yu Tsai and thank you so much for joining me again on Let's Talk. And today is Tuesday. That means we have a special edition of Giving Back Tuesday at 11 a.m. this morning. I'm so excited for this section because this is when we get to focus on people in the food industry, continue to stay resilient and able to find ways, continue to get back to the community. My first guest today is Elizabeth. It's so hard for me to say Elizabeth because I'm Asian, so I'm gonna try to, but I'm gonna do it for you. Elizabeth Blau, and she is the founder and CEO of Blau Associates. And you're calling in from Las Vegas, right?
I am.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for being with me today. And I can't wait to hear what you guys are doing and how you're staying so strong and able to continue to help and giving back every day during this time.
It's been pretty crazy. I live about 20 minutes in the suburbs. It's beautiful sunny skies and green, and it's definitely summer is approaching. But the strip is completely closed down. It's like a ghost town.
It's what is so crazy that we do hear on the news how Vegas is probably going to be one of the first area that will continue to start to open up. There are definitely the more progressive group of states and counties are doing so. How has that affected all your different restaurants? Because we know that you're a restaurateur, a renowned restaurateur, and you have many restaurants across the globe. How has it impacted you domestically in the States?
So our restaurants are here in Las Vegas and in Vancouver, Canada, and most of them are in casinos, so they've been completely closed down. But our restaurant Honey Salt here has really been, an integral part of the community, and so we have been open throughout. So our hearts are with our hundreds of workers both here and in Canada. Luckily, we have been very fortunate with our partners that. Especially here in Las Vegas, the Venetian is an extraordinary property, and so our employees have been paid throughout. And the great news is that June 1st, we're going to be reopening here in Las Vegas.
Wow. Can you tell me a little bit about the type of restaurant and how many people can be occupied in this place and how many people required to run this business in the restaurant?
Sure. So the whole concept behind Honey Salt is how we like to cook and entertain at home. And so it's a neighborhood spot. It's in a great shopping center with a Williams-Sonoma and a Pottery Barn. So it's a community place.
It's such a community place.
And so we've been fortunate that we've been able to keep 25 people employed. It's normally a 140-seat restaurant with a beautiful patio. And now with social distancing, it's about a 70-seat restaurant, but we've done family-style dining and curbside. We've had a marketplace where we sell great wine and beautiful cocktails, Casa Dragones, tequila, and toilet.
You're making me hungry. I'm only 4 hours away from you driving, so be careful. I may be gone before the talk is over. So have you guys been doing pickup services during the difficult time? How has the restaurant pivot in the very beginning of this isolation period?
Sure. I mean, again, the great news is that we're comfort food. So fried chicken, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, beautiful desserts, apple pies, vanilla ice cream. I know I'm not helping you here. Healthy things like green juice and avocado toast. So our food, I think, is what, people are kind of looking for in this situation. And so we've just adjusted to do family style dinners. We've done fun things like sold cooking kits where you can cook alongside myself and my husband and bring the dinner home. So, it's just a time to get creative. And, we have a responsibility. There's 25 people and not just those employees, but their families. And so, during this time, it's very important that we provide that reassurance and that calm through the storm, because people are nervous. They're very scared. They're worried about their futures, their children. And so I have been in Las Vegas for 22 years, and so seen all kinds of very, very difficult situations that we've lived through, and we've come through, and we've thrived. And so I believe that beautiful ray of sunshine that you're seeing peeking through my windows is what we have to focus on for the future.
And I love what you're saying, that is about the people who work for you. Start with the community near you. Start with the people that you can help around you. I know during this pandemic, I'm talking to so many different guests. One thing in common that we all find is that the help is most needed is the people you can reach. It's kind of like the virus, that 6 feet distance is where we need to stay away from each other. But when we help people, start with that 6 feet distance as well, that people you can reach and help. And that's your community around you. And knowing that you guys provide soul food, and you know what, the chicken and the mashed potatoes, is probably what we all so desperately need right now to make us feel that being at home doesn't have to feel alone. I think that's the lesson I'm really learning through this talk and through meeting people like you, that there are ways to make yourself, help the people you quarantine with, that feel that you're not alone. And food is the number one thing. And I know I've been watching on your IG as well, that you've been posting and cooking. And I love seeing that, because you're known as a restaurateur, and by the mere fact to be able to see you getting your hands dirty in the kitchen with everybody else, it's so rewarding for me, because it's not a business for you anymore. It is about a community. It's about sharing, and it's about love. And I had the opportunity to meet your dogs and your kid the other day when we talked on FaceTime, and that just brings me so much joy to see that you have people around you, that your kids are, they're watching, and I'm watching. They're seeing you. What have I learned through this process?
Well, you said that's a great point, and I think that being a role model for our children, making sure that my son is up in the morning, because it's he can set his own schedule if he gets his work done. So if I don't go in there, 11 o'clock rolls around, he's still in a dark cave. But I think that in our community as a restaurateur, and especially, whipping up delicious concoctions at home, or having the time to play around with a starter and bake breads. And I've set a goal for myself. I've never baked croissants. And so that's like the holy grail. But in all seriousness, with that responsibility, to know that there are so many people in our community who are out of work, and who need food, and many of them are alone and don't have other resources. That's why we got together with our county commissioner, some other unbelievable nonprofits, and some other really philanthropic restaurateurs, and started a program called Delivering with Dignity. And so we have, in the last 6 weeks, got over 38,000 meals out to those most vulnerable in the community. And with an army of volunteer drivers, these hot chef prepared meals, prepared with love, the same way they prepare for our guests, these were being able to be delivered right to the homes of seniors, of anyone with immunity compromise, who really just shouldn't be out. And so my son has done deliveries with my husband. He's come and helped pack the food. And, I truly believe that it's our, responsibility as community leaders, not just to dream up delicious things for our customers, but, to make sure that nobody is left behind. And we also provide sometimes just little notes, and some of my chefs' kids will draw on the bags. And it's amazing what just a little small random act of kindness can do for somebody who's shut in, and really not just afraid for the future, but even afraid to leave their home.
And people often forget that, and a lot of people in school, when we're in the normal, kids go to schools and they have meals provided in school. And I learned through this talk that a lot of parents do have this added stress in the very beginning, the added stress that they have to provide 3 meals a day for their kids. And there are a lot of underprivileged households that are not able to provide that, because that's actually a huge financial new burden that comes on to their income. And by having this amazing initiative that you have put in, and with your staff, I'm sure they feel so good at giving at this time, because I find that this is a time more we give and more we receive back. Maybe we know it's not monetary, right? It's not about the money any longer. I think that the common ground is that we all find we want to help and do that helpful ways. We find the gratitude coming back in a different way. I think that is incredible. And we all love food, and you know how much I love food. So and our common ground truly is feeding the soul and be able to do any little things that we can possibly can to help. And part of the initiative of Love Let's Talk is that by being here today, you are donating 500 masks to first responders. And we started an initiative from the very top of the show that we want to set 100,000 goals of masks to deliver to first responders. And we have now surpassed that in our fundraiser, and we're continuing to move that meter, and we want to continue to keep the initiative going. So thank you for being here. And for those you guys are watching, if you wish to help, and please go to our Let'sTalk.com website, and you can see all the information there. And $1 helps, 25 cents help, or just merely go to the site and share the link helps. And back to you, Elizabeth, that in the food industry, how do you see it's going to happen in the near future? I know we're all taking precautions, and you as a restaurateur, you have many restaurants to take care of. How do you go about the next step?
You know, it's on one hand, it's a challenge. On the other hand, it's, you know, slightly overwhelming. You know, you still have a lot of family and friends who are like, don't go out, stay at home, protect yourself. But, you know, we're also running a restaurant, and there's also an economy that needs to get kick-started. And so, you know, obviously we have ramped up. We're a restaurant. So, I mean, cleanliness and safety and all those precautions is always at the forefront of what we do, because we're feeding you. And so, you know, now it's just that added level of, you know, of adding a mask and gloves. And so, you know, it's more of a challenge. And so, you know, when you walk into our restaurant right now, we're not allowed to seat people at the bar, and we're having to space out the dining room. And so I didn't want the first thing when you came back into our dining room to look cold and austere and this empty bar, or chairs turned upside down, or something marking "do not sit here." So our staff and some of our neighborhood friends donated a whole collection of teddy bears and Mickey Mouse, and actually it was picked up on the Today Show, which was very cute yesterday. But it just makes you smile, and that's our job in the hospitality business. That's why not only are you coming for the wonderful food and service, but you're coming for the experience. We're nurturers. You know, you come in and you want to escape the world. So if you're coming in and you have to be reminded with masks and gloves, the least I can do is give you a chuckle that there's a 75-pound stuffed teddy bear wearing a mask. And he's got a sign saying, "Please don't disturb the bears during quarantine." You know, we don't want people touching the bears. So anyway, you know, I guess we can't lose our sense of humor and our sense of, you know, humanity, because that's what we are, and that's what makes us special. So.
Well, with the initiative of Feeding with Dignity, the initiative that you have put in, feeding over 38,000 people, do you see that continuing after this new normal that's happening?
Well, you know, sadly, the economic disaster is still, you know, very much a reality for us in Las Vegas. And as we reopen, you know, remember these 5, 6, 7,000, you know, room hotels are going to open at a fraction of their occupancy. And we need to do that, because we can't just open the floodgates and have thousands of people fly in from all over the world. We had 42 million visitors here in Las Vegas last year, and we have to protect our workers and the community. And so it's going to come back slowly. And so unfortunately, that economic impact and the impact of those that are most vulnerable, especially our seniors in the community, they need to remain at home until, you know, this is really, you know, eradicated. And so we've taken our party room, because we're obviously not doing any big social functions. And so we've converted that to our delivering with dignity staging area. And
Wow.
we're fortunate that a number of our team members, our family from our Buddy V's restaurant, were partners with the Cake Boss, Buddy Velastro.
Love
So we
Cake
have
Boss.
Carlos Bakery, which Buddy runs, and then we run the restaurant for him, but that's in the Venetian. And so a lot of those people have also, come while they're not working and volunteered. And so, we will continue with the program, for as long as there are, hungry mouths that need to be fed.
I think it's such an incredible time. The silver lining to all of this is that we all begin to put awareness where the help is needed. I myself was very ignorant about the idea that kids going to school alleviates parents so much pressure. That's something new that I had to learn. And I also learned over time that it's not just that restaurants are closing. The fact is a trickle-down effect all the way down to the farmer. That by closing a restaurant, you guys out there, so you know that you're stopping the food processing chain and the chain of the farmers. They live off the soil, and if they can sell the products, they're burning their goods and to just to survive. And that is so important for me to hear that restaurateur like you are taking action, taking all the precautions in order for the economy to come back slowly. But I do know this, and there's a question that is mathematics I would love to learn, and that is, what's the percentage of occupancy do you need to have in a singular restaurant in order to take you to that break-even point? Because I know a lot of smaller restaurants tours I've talked to, they're like, 50% occupancy is going to hurt us more than remain closed. How do you find that balance in economics?
Well, the economic impact of 50% is even twice what we're seeing in some states, which is 25%. And the people you're talking to are absolutely right. The mathematics just don't work.
It doesn't make sense.
It does not add up. And so, the issue is that everything for our livelihood depends on that revenue, on that top line revenue. And when you reduce your occupancy by 50%, you're not correlating, not to get too technical, into all your fixed costs. I mean, I don't tell my chef, well, now your salary is going to be 50%. And I want to hear what my landlord's going to say, because I'm going to try to tell him that I'm going to pay him 50%. My insurance, my taxes. And so, the trickle down effect is just devastating. So many people won't reopen. And many restaurants.
I see that in my neighborhood. There are lovely, amazing, small, independent mom and pop shop that we all love. And the food that they make is so unique to who they are. It's not a chain. So we're seeing signs that we'll be back to we won't be back. And it's devastating. And I don't know the economics in the political realm, how much a government's able to assist and help, but I do know that I'm seeing the suffering in our neighborhoods. It's tremendously, and be honest, I'm scared of it. I really am scared for the food industry, because the spectrum of mom and pop shop not able to open back up is one spectrum, and with restaurateur, with multi restaurants, the impact is actually greater, because they have hundreds of more employees and chefs that rely on these operations to provide for their family. I don't know the answer. I don't have an answer. I just know that it's something that is an off balance, and I don't know how we're going to find that. But through that, if we can be kind to each other and still do one thing we all need is eat, and continue to feed people with food like what you provide, that all I can think of is a chicken and the mashed potatoes right now. But when I love to be educated more as I talk to people like you who are knowledgeable about this industry, and to be able to support. What can we? I guess the question is, what can we do as consumers and who are now asked to stay indoor to help your community?
Well, remember the independent restaurant community, that fabric of, of the network of restaurateurs, of over 11 million people around the country. we are so equal opportunity. We're not concerned about your education, your background, your cultural heritage, your religion. You know, restaurants welcome people with open arms. They provide, you know, for our new immigrants, the most extraordinary opportunity. And it's why we have so many incredible ethnic restaurants around the country, in every state, in every city. And so, you know, in order to support us, you know, you have to look at your budget, but order takeout, you know, buy gift cards, you know, do whatever you can. We've had so many wonderful programs where people pay it forward. We had one of our best customers come up with an idea where they sent a note to 20 of their friends and said, you know, we miss you and can't wait to have dinner with you. And they bought, you know, family dinners for 20 of their friends. We had another family who bought for 20 of the teachers and the administrators, and, you know, and said, thank you, you know, for educating our children. So it's back to your point of just random acts of kindness, but, you know how difficult. And, you know, before you write a review on Yelp or OpenTable or Venga or any of the other social medias, realize how hard, you know, these restaurateurs and their employees and their staffs are working to provide these meals. And remember, it's nothing compared to the first responders, but it's like the people that are running the grocery stores and Target. These people are leaving their homes, they're going out, you know, into the public to make sure that, you know, there's plenty of people who don't cook and, you know, would be eating frozen dinners if, you know, if restaurants weren't open.
And how do people get involved with your program, that Deliver with Dignity? How can we be part of that program? How can we help you?
Well, Delivering with Dignity has its own website, and we're a 501c3 through an incredible foundation called the Moonridge Foundation. But you can find us with Delivering with Dignity. And if you live here in Las Vegas, you can also sign up through the United Way to be a food hero, which is what we call the army of volunteer drivers that we have that actually go pick up the food at the restaurants and drop them right off at the doors. And let me tell you, when you get that smile on the face through the doorway with your mask and you drop that 3 days worth of meals for those seniors, they are so appreciative. You may be the only face that they see, you know, once or twice a week. And it's heartwarming to know that, you know, that those people are not just getting a meal, but they're getting a nutritious, well-balanced, healthy meal.
Well, thank you so much for staying resilient, and thank you for being a leader in our industry that continue to give back. I know we're all going through this in a different phases of our life, and some of us still in a panic mode, and some of us in a giving mode. And you will find your place, everybody out there. And somewhere in there, just remember one thing: that be kind to each other. 6 feet apart. It's the same 6 feet. You need to give the kindness to the people around you, and start from there and start spreading the kindness like the spread of the virus is doing. We can conquer it by doing what we can do. And I'm so grateful for you being here, Elizabeth, and just sharing what you're doing. It will spark so many more people to do the same. And that's what we need in this community. And guys out there,
what
support.
You're doing is so incredible. And I think if you make just one new friend during this whole pandemic, it's truly extraordinary. And I hope you'll come do your secret passion and come photograph our food somewhere.
I love it.
So we can feed you.
She's outing me because we had a previous conversation about my secret life as a food photographer. So it's out. It's no more a secret. But I would love nothing more be able to sit across from you. I don't even care it's 10 feet apart. Just be able to be in the same room and same energy with you, knowing what you're doing for our community, knowing what you are doing for the senior citizen, and Delivery with Dignity. It says it all. Those 3 words, it says it all. And thank you so much for contributing, and thank you for being here with me today.
And I'm glad I'm not upside down or sideways.
And we will keep in touch because we'll see each other soon.
Sounds good.